Hard Parking, brought to you by Right Honda and Right Toyota out of Scottsdale, Arizona. This podcast is actually out of Gilbert, Arizona. Coming up on today's show, the official Fuel Fest recap with special guest Eric Rodsa in studio. He came over the day after Fuel Fest, which was a week ago, I know, but because of the Brittany Griner, Victor Bout situation that I covered in last week's episode and a bonus episode. So if you listened to the first one but didn't check the second one, make sure you go back and check for it. It is kind of a follow-up. Love talking about real society and culture. When I need to, I felt that I needed to. So going back to Eric really quick. He's at a pivotal point in his career. We get into that, which is great after we kind of recap Fuel Fest. So you're going to want to stick around and make sure you listen to that part after the Fuel Fest part. And then we do some Q&A. I mean, come on. Peanut butter and jelly or grilled cheese sandwich, all that and more after this word from 4Wheel Online. Jhae Pfenning here, and I want to tell you guys about 4Wheel Online. For over a decade, 4Wheel Online has been bringing the best truck accessories and truck parts to enhance the appearance and performance of all trucks and SUVs. They are dedicated to providing an extensive range of upgrades that will match any maker model on the road. The truck products cover everything you need to give your truck a custom look and added functionality. And if you need a tire and wheel package, head over and use the configuration tool. They carry all the major brands of wheels and tires, so go get outfitters today. So visit them online at 4Wheel Online or call them at 813-769-2451. Again, that's 4Wheel Online, the number 4, Wheel Online. Eric Rodsa sitting in front of me. I mean, you've been sitting next to me before because we've done live events together, but here you are in the studio. We just got done with Fuel Fest. What did you think?
Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you. This has been way overdue. I want to say I've been trying to come here maybe like 3 years and running.
That's facts.
But obviously it's a pleasure. Thank you for having me here. Fuel Fest was absolutely amazing from the start all the way to the end. The energy was great. There was absurd amount of people, and it doesn't matter if it was last year or this year. It seemed like the energy was great. The vendors were great. The people were great. And even, the main host, like Cody, he came out and met everyone, which was great. And obviously you surround yourself with other enthusiasts, fans, and it really, you could feel the genuine atmosphere that everyone wanted to be there for the same cause. 100%.
And also, let's just not blow past this. Welcome to the Lean Customs family, because you had a pin drop.
I did. Hansel, the owner of Lean Customs, we spoke on Instagram of all places, right? Sometimes I forget my reach on Instagram, if you will. And he offered to make a custom pin design. And to be honest, I didn't even find out about him probably until a year ago when he dropped your pin.
Oh, the Christmas one.
Because
you had just started trying to collect stuff. I remember that.
So that was actually my very first pin. And what a way to start off,
Yeah.
Get like my big bro to send me his pin with the signature. And I returned the favor yesterday.
You did. It's up there right now. And I'm pointing up to the top of my cabinet because as you guys know, I'm in the middle of kind of like resituating my situation in this office. But I bought these like cool new displays that Lean has. They're always sold out online, but he had them yesterday at his truck. And I'm looking at his reach, right? So he's got 33,900 and something followers on Instagram. That's thirsty with an I-A-Z, man. Subaru STI. We've talked about your car before.
We have.
So we'll give people a quick recap on it before we move on to life.
So I bought a brand new 2016 Subaru STI. And it was probably my 8th car that I've owned. And one of the main things that I regretted as an enthusiast was not documenting my journey with my vehicles. And so I didn't want to make that same mistake. And I bought it. It was brand new to the platform, brand new chassis. And I decided I wanted to go ahead and create its own dedicated Instagram to keep my private life private, but still document my journey. And before I knew it, it exploded.
Yeah.
And all for the better, if you will. I've influenced many small businesses, in the forefront for a lot of endeavors for that chassis. And I'm very proud of what I've accomplished. And I met Jay, I want to say,
I'm proud of you too.
Yeah, thanks. Probably maybe 4, maybe even 5 years ago, it seems like. And he's seen the transformation of my vehicle from when it first started all the way to where it's at now. And it's great to get the recognition without even asking for it. So,
dude, I mean, I remember seeing that, and I said, "Dude, your car is sick. This is sick. This is now my favorite Subi."
No, I definitely appreciate it. A lot of time and effort went into it, and I did it for myself. I didn't actually do it for, say, Instagram
Sure.
or anybody else's satisfaction. And I feel like it is a proper representation of myself, the attention to detail, something I take pride in. So I definitely appreciate, all the praise that I've been getting, if you will.
It's well deserved. Back to Fuel Fest really quick, because we talked that we liked it, and that's about it.
So, they had multiple events going on. They had live drag racing.
Did you check it out at all? I didn't. I still, for the second year, I did not get over there to watch the cars, but I talked to someone, and they said, yeah, it's like the same 10 cars going over and over.
I didn't get to.
You didn't either?
No, because again, I had a lot of prior commitments, if you will. I told some other booths that I would go and help them out if they needed it, or at least, did my part, my obligation to Lean Customs. So when they needed help, I also helped them out. But I did see some of the drifting, and I know the drag strip was going live as well, because I would see all the times being posted. I think someone ran like a 10-2 or something like that. So
I'm shaking my head because I don't know. The thing about, though, it's, that events have arrived, and it's too bad because Wild Horse Pass is going away. There's rumors about, maybe they're going to build another one very similar close by, which is what we all hope for, because going into this weekend, it's like, well, what are we going to do next year? But, the scene has arrived when the Lean Customs van shows up. Like, honestly, right? I mean, that's like, holy shit, Hansel's here, Lean Customs is here, and I hope it was worth his time, because he does shows in California. SEMA, he's got lines of people.
I mean, he is pretty much the pin goat, if you will. In the industry. I mean, that there are, although there are companies trying to imitate what he's done. I mean, his attention to detail and the way he's able to market those pins. I mean, you can see the quality. And I've seen some other ones. I'm like, there's a reason why.
Sure.
He's getting all the recognition he has been getting, and all the big, contracts with other
manufacturers and shit like
Absolutely.
that. Toyo, and it's harder. It's actually harder to get, him to commit to anything, just because he's like corporate almost now. You know what I mean? It's like, it's crazy. And, he could be here talking about it, but it's always better for people to talk about you in a good way. But it's crazy because.
Absolutely. I mean, even his 2 exclusive pin drops were mine and my design, and then his van. And then outside of that, it was Cody Walker's S2K. You know what I mean? So that should tell you his reach. He's doing SEMA events. He's doing, make and model events. He's even doing, legends, if you will. And he just did your NSX Expo, right?
Yeah, I just handed him the NS Expo like twin pin kit that everybody and their mother wants. That's the logo and everything. But yeah, it's awesome that he's done that. And then some of the other stuff going on, like you said. I feel like the vendor area was a lot bigger this year. Tyrese was there. Last year Vin Diesel showed up. But it was cool that he was there. It's cool everybody was there. I don't think anyone does it like them. I've been to a ton of events out here in Arizona, and there's similar, like IFO kind of like messes with that, but still can't really get close to touching it. That's really the only event we have that has all that stuff going on, minus the stage.
And it almost feels like they never miss a beat. Like, everything is organized, and when it says it's going to start, it actually starts.
Yeah.
There's no delays. If it's going to run 30 minutes, it runs 30 minutes. If it's going to run an hour, it runs an hour. And I think a lot of the car show participants, as well as all the attendees, right? I think they appreciate that, because it's a smooth show for how big it is. And, obviously, I think last year, correct me if I'm wrong, I think they had close to 5,000-6,000 people, but this year,
I think over 8, right?
Yeah,
like
I think 8,500 or something
8,500.
they said. So it's still growing.
Yeah.
which is insane. And it's like you mentioned, Wild Horse is going to be closing. And us as enthusiasts, like we like that venue because it's a little bit of everything for all sorts of enthusiasts. If you want to drag, you can drag. If you want to drift, you can drift. If you want a car show, you can car show.
Yeah. Pros and cons with that thing, though, because you're going that gate 1 and you're going around that weird back, dirty, beat up looking road. I had my boy, so I was supposed to get my car washed by Kinetic Details. That's Brian Folsom on a Friday. And he calls me and says, hey, I'll be there in a couple hours. I go, dude, last year I remember washing the car before Fuel Fest. Forget it. Because within an hour it's dirty. And you have a black car.
Yes.
On top of that, like, what's that looking like?
So just to put in perspective, I washed it the day before. I wiped it down before going to the event, and I still had to do a full wipe down. And then I haven't even. I mean, it was late last night. I can only imagine what it's going to look like after a whole day's worth of drifting and stuff like that. Debris just going up in the air.
Soot.
There's
a lot of soot all over the place. What cars did you see there did you have time to even look at cars? Anything that stood out?
I mean, so I did walk around. I did see a purple R33 I'd never seen before. So that was actually really interesting. I didn't see the owner.
I don't even think I saw that car.
It was towards the back. Actually, I took a photo. I'll show you later. But it was really sweet. Really well done. There was another a fully carbon fiber STI caught my eye. So the whole body was in carbon fiber.
I don't think I saw that either.
There were
so many cars, dude.
There were a bunch of cars. One of the booths had a RX-7 FD. I think they were trying to mimic the initial D. So
was it the yellow one?
The yellow one.
That's the Kanji Customs booth.
I think so.
Yeah.
I saw that and I thought that looked
nice.
Really nice. James Paul Media, he brought all 3 of his cars. So he has a wide body Evo 10, a 370Z,
M4, right?
And then an M4. And all of them look great. I really love his M4. It's got I think it's sunburst orange or something like that.
Yep.
And primo.
Yeah, and then did you see the rat rod thing kind of down there by the drift ride-alongs?
I think so. It's that older looking. It looked like rusted out, but it looked really nice.
It was basically on the floor. Those rat rods.
Yep.
That was pretty unique. I saw a couple wraps that were. There was an R35 with kind of like a weird pearly, pinkish, purple wrap on it, and usually that kind of color combo just looks weird to me, but it seemed to work on that. And I was kind of parked on the opposite side of the fence as you were. You know how they had the Highline Autos?
Correct.
It was over there. And did you see the IS300 that was wrapped literally with Christmas paper?
Oh, I did see that one. Yes. I thought that was pretty cool.
That was fun. There was a Corolla there. And I don't know if someone just left it parked there overnight or something. I know they didn't because of the way they park stuff in, but it was just the most basic looking. It's basically one of those things where people announce, can the driver of this car license plate please move your car? I have no idea how it even got in there. And it's not, I know this sounds terrible for me to say. I'm going to show you. I have a video of it. I'm going to show you. And you're going to be like, what the hell is that?
Well, there was.
I don't know why I was there.
I was walking with a friend, and his girlfriend was like, "Is that a Chevy Cruze?" And it was just a normal stock Chevy Cruze, but it was in the middle of the event, and we were like, I guess
I guarantee this is the same deal. Because
so there's this one.
Let me hit a screenshot of this thing, bam, and then send it to you. Oh yeah, that's nice. I may have actually. He's showing me the R33.
In person, that purple was.
Oh, I bet it fucking.
Yeah, it had a nice flake on it.
There you go. I'm showing him the Corolla.
Oh man, was that a 2011 or?
I don't know. Am I wrong here? There's
no, you're not wrong.
It literally is will the driver of this vehicle, please move your vehicle. We're trying to do a show here.
Oh boy.
Yeah, my boy Brandon, who was super popular on Instagram, no Rari with the red NSX. He had his Honda Beat there.
Yeah.
A little tiny Beat. And so he pointed that out.
Oh, I did see his.
It was parked up kind of by the gate.
By the fence, right?
By the fence, thank you. Yeah, by the fence.
I did see this white NSX 130 of 350, you know?
Was it labeled 130 or 350?
All over the car.
What a tool. Like, I mean.
It's the second car I saw. They parked it right next to Cody Walker. Must be a celebrities.
Dude, that was crazy. That was crazy because I pull in. I'm stuck with all my boys with Rap Sesh and all those guys. And then I have like, they give you like this red piece of paper. I don't know if you got the red piece of paper. It just basically says, well, no, because you're a booth car.
Right.
It basically says I paid for, premium car registration. Because last year, the premium section was front and center in front of the stage, remember?
Mm-hmm.
This year is at the main entrance. And so I get a hold of one of the organizers. He takes me over to the gate, the drift gate, kind of right there. And the guy's like, well, we're handpicking some of these cooler cars. And obviously the thing's full of cool cars.
Right.
But we want them to park kind of over here. And I was like, all right, cool. So I kind of backed up to the gate. But in my brain, I'm thinking, okay, this is a cool spot. Everyone's going to see it, but I'm going to get all the drift smoke.
Yeah.
Because it's right in front of the fucking drift pits. And then someone else radioed and said, no, we're going to move you again. And then that's like, see that? And he pointed down, see that green S2000 up there? You need to park kind of like how it is, but like right behind it.
Right behind it.
I was like, oh, that's cool. And they go, yeah, that's Cody Walker's. It's like, oh.
That's real cool now.
Yeah, I'll take that fucking spot, and he probably thinks I like grease somebody's hands to get parked behind him or something.
Well, it was funny, right? So when I was coordinating with Hansel, Lean Customs, right? He sent me the loading instructions, and I guess they had 2 different days you could load in as a vendor. Friday and Saturday.
Yeah.
And, Friday 12 to 5, and then Saturday 8 to 1. And then so I was like, hey, what time do you want to go? He's like, maybe 11. I don't know. Well, we'll figure it out. I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, man, I was like,
the lines.
I was like, he's ballsy. I'm like, okay. I mean, I guess, it's his booth.
Yep.
I can't show up without him.
Sure.
And so I'm like, man, we were going to get stuck probably all the way in the back. What has happened? He shows up, he rolls up like a G, and he's like, no, I'm Lean Customs. and they're like,
they wave you past.
And then they're like, oh, okay, hold on, go here. Then they kept pointing and pointing and pointing until we get in front of Barrett Jackson. Okay, you guys can park here. I was like, man, what kind of pool does he have? It was pretty cool, though. It was funny. Everyone's just staring at us as we rolled through. Well,
they were waving like all the vendors through. And yeah, because I got there and I got parked. And I'm like, oh, does anybody know where the Lean Customs tent is? Like, I'm looking for Lean. I'm looking for your car. I'm looking for this. Someone's like, oh, I think I saw it like over there. I go, no, I would have seen it. And then you guys show up like an hour and a half later. It's like, oh, there it is. But then I'm looking for the old school Lean truck thingy.
Right. So I think actually he said he just
got
debuted. That. He just debuted that van.
SEMA.
Right. And so he's like, this is my official show, the first official show I'm doing outside of SEMA, because I think he has that pod. The big pod that he has in SoCal.
Yeah.
He didn't bring that, but he brought the van.
It's a storage container that he's converted into, which is pretty cool. So we hung out a little bit. I kind of hung out with, I'm like a kind of a social butterfly like you are as well. So I kind of hung out with a bunch of different people. But we were kind of in the VIP area, had a couple beers, not too many. I think I had one beer every 2 hours. And it's not because I was trying to pace myself. I just didn't get around to having one beer every 2 hours. But it was cool because this year they had like a special viewing section in front of the big stage for anybody who had VIP credentials. They didn't have that last year. So then you don't have to fight your way. So you were like front and center. So it was us and maybe more people could have came. I don't think people knew about it or really didn't read. I didn't read anything from this event.
Right.
But there we were and we're looking up and they're throwing shit at us. And
yeah. So just to give everyone perspective, it's like a concert stage, and last year they didn't have a section in front for VIP members, so it was a mosh pit pretty much. Everyone's trying to fight to get to the front, and obviously now that they know the possibility of Vin Diesel being there, they're like, everyone started lining up really early.
That's true, yep.
So it's just funny because they had a little section kind of in the middle, off to the left a little bit for just VIP members, and they had a security guard, and they're making sure like you show them all your wristbands and your pass. But when we got in there, I mean, there was a lot of room left over, and everyone just you could just see the eyes just looking over and just say, man,
who the fuck are these guys? Yeah, because it looks like, because we're walking up and one of the guys was like, hey, I don't think there's any room because everyone was surrounding it, so you couldn't see it.
Yeah, you couldn't even see the entrance to the VIP spot.
Yeah, and I saw the security guy standing there. I go, okay, follow the security guy, and sure as shit, and I showed him my necklace. He's like, nope, let me see your wrist. Let me see your wrist. So I showed him the wristband. He's like, all right, come on in. It's, oh shit.
I guess you're right. Okay.
Yeah, I guess you're all right. This guy was you? Yeah, he's a good guy. Come on, But you're right. It's crazy. You look around and as they came on stage, as is Corey Hosford, who's the MC. He also does stuff with Hoonigan all the time. He was a local guy. I think he lives in California now, but he was
he was
a
wearing
drifter.
the Hoonigan shirt or sweatshirt.
Yeah, he's really good up there on the mic. So, he gets everyone hyped up, and then they call Cody and Tyrese up there, and they're signing shit and throwing it into the crowd, and it was a good time.
It really was. And yeah, you said Corey, right? Corey? That's the first time I've seen him, and I thought he did a great job. Personally, I'm really picky with MCs and whether or not I do a good job, and he actually did. Like, he kept everyone engaged. It didn't seem scripted. You could see he was working on the fly, but he got everyone into it.
It's funny you said it didn't seem scripted because I'm looking up there and just listening to him because that'd be kind of cool to do, right? And I'm like, God, did he memorize this? Did he practice this? Because he just kept going. He was just smooth the whole time.
Right, because I don't think he was anticipating them signing stuff and throwing it out. So he had to pivot, and it seemed like it didn't matter.
And then when he said, this is the last one, I was thinking, wait, don't they have another one in Abu Dhabi? And then Cody's like, dude, there's one more. And then that whole exchange was cool, too. He wasn't like, oh, shit, what do I do? They just kept going back and forth.
He's like, well, I correct myself. Last one in the States. Hey, good cover, bud.
Got a little cold. So then I went, you, of course, at the end of the night, you go, I'll be back. And then you didn't come back for a while. And I was like, all right, I'm leaving. Yeah. I was like, did he say he was going to come back, or am I imagining something?
So I'm actually the lead for Team Elevate here in Arizona, and Team Elevate, the founder is also the owner of Gearhead Society.
Okay.
Gio. And so they had a booth.
Oh, Gio. Okay. I've never met him. I just hear his name all the time. So
he's actually looking to come to Arizona a lot more. He's got a home out here too. Okay. So to him, Arizona is like his second home. He started the California and Arizona chapters at the same time. So those were his first two chapters. Okay. But he had a booth out here, and I went to help them out. They thought that the event was going to be over at 10. I'm like,
10?
Yeah, I was like, hey man, it's like 7:35. You want to close up shop? He's like, well, why would I close up now? And I was laughing because I was like, well, you see everyone else is leaving. He's like, yeah, I was wondering why they're leaving so early. I was like, yo, the event ends in like 25 minutes, man. I was like, we got a lot to clean up here. So that's why.
Okay, so I don't feel bad. I waited for a while. I'm like, oh man, because that area was a lot thinner. And I went to the car and grabbed my little Hot Wheels Fast and Furious NSX that I've had for like 2 or 3 years. I bought a few of them off some like local collectors. I was like, hey, see if you guys will find this. And I actually met them up at a gas station. I was like, all right, how much? Like a drug deal. Yeah, like a drug deal. And I've had him, and I wanted to get no LG, which is Hector, to sign it at the last year, but he didn't show up.
Right.
Because he missed his flight. And I haven't really had an opportunity. And it's like, okay, now I'm kind of cool enough with Cody to where I can ask him to sign it, but then I didn't want to ask him to sign it in front of like a bunch of other people, because it's kind of like, we'll give other people a chance that don't ever have that opportunity. I'll have that opportunity again one day. So I went and got it because Hector already signed it, no LG. And I was like, well, maybe this year I'll get lucky, because I missed last year. I was over there fucking with the booth when Vin Diesel and all those dudes were in the VIP area.
Right. So like they shifted the times this year. So I was actually kind of mad. I missed out on that because I was like, I thought it was over. Like I thought they weren't going to come out.
Yeah.
Because I thought they were going to be stuck in the trailers.
Yeah. Yep.
And then I guess Hans was like, no, I went to the VIP just to use the bathroom, and they were there.
Yeah, he went to use the restroom, and he came out, and we were talking, and then they showed up, and there was maybe 10 people kind of hanging around,
right,
or less. But I saw, because Tyrese had the red pants on, so it's hard to miss. I was like, I see red pants, and I see 2 golf carts pulling into the back of the VIP thing. And I said, I know that's them, because when they passed me when I was walking in front of Hansel's booth, actually,
right,
they went by. Mm-hmm. I pointed at Tyrese. I go, oh, there goes that man. He kind of looked at me, kind of pointed at me. I was like, oh, shit. Yeah. But then when they came in, I had that Hot Wheels. I'm pointing at it in the studio here. I go, hey, man, can you sign my Hot Wheel for me? And he kind of just shook his head, yes, and did this thing with his finger, like one, almost like at the end of Endgame. Right. When Stark's like, you said we have, and Doctor Strange like puts up his finger, like one chance. He did just like that. I was like, oh, okay, cool. But then he had a mask on because I heard he was kind of sick. Mm-hmm. And I just kind of pointed out, I go, here's the thing right here. Here's the pen. I'll back away. I know you're not feeling good. He scribbled. And of course, I had this silver pen. You can't even fucking read it.
He probably grabbed the same silver pen that he used to sign my card last year. It's probably the same one. It's all dried out.
Yeah, it was kind of dried out. And then when Cody showed up, I was like, hey, Cody, can you sign this for me, please? Yeah, sure. But I still felt kind of weird. But now I have all 3 signatures up there, and that's what I wanted.
Right.
You know, that's all I wanted. So it's going to go in the case along with your pen. And again, I'm pointing at it up here in the studio with the same shitty silver pen that I brought.
It's all good. No, I mean, it's a great collector's piece. Yeah, Hansel's got some great little like hard stacks, and like he has an imitated like container that he has for his.
The thing's always sold out.
Always.
Yeah.
I think I've only ever seen it in stock one time, and I just bought 3 of them.
Right. But yeah, it's okay. So enough about Lean Customs. You're kind of at a pivot point in your career with the military. You know, kind of tell us what you have going on, because I think a lot of people don't really realize like this eventually this day comes.
Correct. So for those of you that don't know, I am active duty Air Force. I've served for 11 and a half years now, and I have to make a decision. You know, obviously most people, when you hear them being part of the military and they want to make it a career, they go for 20 so they can retire and get their pension. For me, my reasons for enlisting has continued to change. I am married. I have 3 beautiful kids, and I've been in Arizona for the past 9 years. Most people don't have the luxury of being in one place, for that long.
Wait, hold on. So your wife's military too, right?
Correct. She's
how did you guys do that? Because my cousin, one of my cousins, you know, he and his girlfriend were both military, but she ended up going to Japan and he didn't go with her. How does that happen to where you can actually kind of choose
that dynamic?
Yeah.
So every branch is a little different, but if you're married, that's the stipulation.
Okay. Yeah, they were girlfriend
married.
and boyfriend. So at that point,
correct,
someone has to make a decision, or I'll see you later.
Well, it's either they get married or someone gets orders and they'll go elsewhere.
Yep.
So the military doesn't have any obligations to keep you together if you're just boyfriend and girlfriend. For that reason, you can always break up.
And I get it.
So it's to the needs of, in my case, the Air Force, right? But no, me and my wife were married. We have a certain spousal code that we wanted. So anytime one of us gets an assignment, the other one should, generate the same type of assignment. With that being said, it's a little harder to move us simultaneously. So on average, if I was a single airman, I could move every 3 to 4 years. But now that I'm married with also another active duty member, on average, it might take 5 years to move us. So I was initially in Tucson for 5 years, and they just moved me up the street to Phoenix.
Now, hold on. So is she also Air Force?
She is, and she's a weather forecaster. So she helps obviously predict the weather for all the pilots and gives the go no go whether they can fly. Whereas me, I am a calibration technician, so I work on all the pieces of equipment that is used on the flight line, pretty much. It's been really satisfying, don't get me wrong. But at this point in my life, I've worked really hard to get my MBA. I love the Phoenix area, and all my kids were born in Arizona, so this feels like home to me. And I feel like it's the right decision to kind of maybe explore my options here locally.
So can you just decide at any time to do that?
No, so obviously it has to align with your contract.
Okay.
So initially you can sign up for either 4 or 6 years, and then you can re-enlist if you'd like. So
got it.
Me, I re-enlisted one extra time. So I'm coming towards the end of my contract. And if I wanted to, I can re-enlist indefinitely and go to 20, or I can do another 4 or another 6. It just depends on what I want.
But you're ready.
Right. Most people don't want, it's kind of a pain to re-enlist, a lot of paperwork involved. So if you already know you're going to do 20, some people are like, just get me to the end. Do another 8. I don't care. But for me, I like to explore my options and actually take a little bit more control of my life, not be in harm's way for my kids' sake.
So you can do what you want, but your wife, is she still going to stay in and do what she's doing?
She's looking to get out as well. So we'll be fully pretty much looking to stay out here, be out of harm's way. We did our time, and we have no regrets, though. I don't want anyone to take that away from this conversation. We're very prideful for doing what we did, and the Air Force has provided opportunities that we never, in our wildest dreams, imagined. I would have probably never come out to Arizona. To me, I always thought maybe it's just the Grand Canyon, and complete, obviously 180. You know what I mean? And I love it out here.
Dude, that's funny you say that, because One of my really good friends, Crump, who has been on the podcast years ago, he's a realtor up in Grand Rapids. He would always talk about moving to Phoenix one day. And we're all like, dude, what's in Phoenix? Like one building and a couple cacti and some dirt? Like what is in Phoenix? And then when I came out here as a contractor like 8 years ago, almost 9 years ago, I'm looking around at these beautiful roads, these beautiful sunsets. Like actually at Fuel Fest last night, I'm pointing out, I go, look, this is why we're here. And I pointed at the fucking
mountains, right?
Right. And the sun, I was like, this is why we're here. And so every day, and then that was during the winter. So then flying back to West Michigan in the worst fucking winter and dealing with that shit, crazy family, crazy weather. I'm like, shit, this is where we got to be. But you're right. It was nothing like I thought. Even when Yvette came out here, it was nothing like she thought.
Yeah, it blew us away. My wife has always been a desert rat, but for me, I've always grown up on the East Coast, 4 seasons, snow, humidity in the summer, but everything is so much older over there.
Yeah.
The traffic is bad. It's older.
The infrastructure is all screwy.
Exactly.
Except Southwest, LA, same problem.
Correct. I won't take any away from that. Yeah, no. And so when we got here, we were just pleasantly surprised. Everything is, newer. Your money really got you, best bang for your buck. And I can deal with, 2 to 3 months of quote unquote extreme heat, but then the other 9 months are beautiful. You know what I mean? And I'd rather do that than 6 to 8 months of just cold weather all the time and then humidity in the summer. So it made the decision for me really easy.
So what are you and your wife thinking about doing? So what most specifically to you, it's time to move on. Like what kind of options do you have? What is it you're trying to do? And is it a little scary?
It can be. Obviously, I'm used to a certain lifestyle. I'm used to a certain paycheck. I'm used to, having a normal Monday through Friday. My hours are 7 to 4, but it can be daunting. Maybe I'll have to take a pay cut if if I don't have certain experiences. But luckily for my job specifically, it translates pretty well to the civilian side. I'm looking to do anything with project management, operations management, or even supply chain management, anything in that realm. And I've been doing a round of interviews, and it seems like, I don't know, renewable energy seems to be the hot topic around here. Rightfully so, right? I guess, in the desert, it's a lot of sun. So there's a lot of companies hiring for renewable energy without getting politics involved, sure, but that seems to be what a lot of people are looking to hire right now. I was looking at Amazon and Google, but just recently they had a
mass layoff or hiring freeze
and mass layoff. Yep. So I'm gonna play it cool. I still have time though, so that's really
it's June though.
Correct.
It'll be here soon,
very soon, and I've noticed how time is just exponentially getting faster. And my wife is just looking to do something medical. Luckily, Arizona has plenty of hospitals, so she just got an internship offer for the Mayo Clinic. So I'm hoping that pans out. Maybe I could stay at home for a bit, let her work for me.
You're going to stay in the West Valley, or are you looking? Because you're way out in Surprise, right?
I am in Surprise. And that area is growing. Don't get me wrong. Anything off the 303 is growing. But I'm looking for the right opportunity. And if that means, we have to move this way, I love Gilbert too. I love this area. And to be honest, as long as I be closer to my kids, so that means, 20 to 35 minutes away instead of, 45 to an hour with traffic, to me, that makes a huge difference.
Want to get into some Q&A?
Sure.
All right. Okay, so it's been a while since I've had someone in the studio, so I've been doing all these Q&As by myself. But some of these questions actually work with other people, not just for me. So, PB&J or grilled cheese?
Oof. PB&J for me.
Do you like grilled cheese?
I do, but...
Why PB&J? I'm curious what your answer is.
Well, I'm a sports guy, so that was a quick meal for me that wasn't heavy. So I've gotten used to it being a quick snack an hour and a half before a game or a practice.
I love grilled cheese, but I think the correct answer is PB&J because PB&J is portable.
Okay.
Grilled cheese isn't. So you can, do your PB&J on a pinch anywhere. And that's why, to me, it's a better sandwich, if that's what you want to call it, just because it's portable.
Less prep work.
Yeah, but if you put down a nice grilled cheese sandwich in front of me or a PB&J, I'm grabbing the grilled cheese every time.
Sounds about right. Yeah, no, I agree.
And I don't know why I have this question for grilled cheese, but someone asked me, have you ever used mayonnaise in substitution of butter?
Instead of butter?
Yeah.
Someone just mentioned that like last month to me. I was like, well, I've never tried that, so no.
I haven't either, but I feel like mayonnaise has a tang to it, and so people would like that. Plus, it's got the oil base, so it's going to be crispy. Butter is salty if you use salted butter. But I don't know. I would try it, but I'm still like a butter. Well, actually, I was in a margarine house. Like, we never had butter.
Yeah,
we always had
same.
like in the tub, you know, that brown like country crock. Came in the brown tub or whatever. So we always had that. So I was raised in a margarine house. So the difference between mayonnaise and margarine, mayonnaise probably has flavor and margarine has like no flavor.
I didn't even know. I thought they were the same thing growing up, to be honest. They're like, you got butter? Yeah, here you go. Here's margarine. But it's because it was we used to get the butter sticks.
Yep.
But it was margarine. It was just kind of funny.
Yeah, I don't think I really knew there was a difference either until I think seafood. Like you go out to eat like Red Lobster and it's like, oh, dip it in butter. And like, this butter tastes different than the butter we have at home.
Yeah, what is this?
Because margarine has no flavor. So you can't dip your like crab with a K, your imitation crab meat sticks in margarine. It just doesn't do anything.
True.
Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Wars.
Star Wars, that's easy.
Yep.
So I answered this one last week. I'm going to ask you, favorite OG Nintendo game and why?
Oof.
How old are you again?
I'm 33.
33. Okay, so your old school and my old school might be a little different. I know you've probably played all the old school games, but
So I grew up on Super Nintendo.
that's still good.
Yeah, I was
not Nintendo 64, but Super Nintendo, the
Super
one in the
Nintendo.
middle.
I would have to say Mario Kart.
Ooh, that's a damn good one.
And the only reason why is because it never got old for me. I could play it all the time and with friends, and
That's it.
I mean, it was versatile all around, and you didn't have to like it, and still get into it.
That's a damn good answer.
Yeah.
It was GoldenEye before GoldenEye.
Yeah.
Because it's a good pregame game. Everyone's getting ready to go out. You play Mario Kart, maybe throw a couple back or whatever you're doing, and then hey, you ready? Everyone's ready. All right, one more race. All right, let's go.
Those were the top two games I played when N64 came out. GoldenEye and Mario Kart 64. Hands down. Because Mario Kart 64 was 3D. It was I feel like there hadn't been anything like it before. And then GoldenEye, I probably played that probably 3 times as much as I did Mario Kart 64, but that was a classic.
Did you do the one shot, one kill big head mode?
We tried that.
Or the paintball one,
We did both. We tried everything. I mean, we played the crap. I remember it was funny. I actually tried to do the single player mode, and I couldn't get past the train stage. I think I tried like 3 months. I kid you not. And I didn't even know that there was a GoldenEye movie. I swear. I didn't know there was a GoldenEye movie. Obviously the game is from the movie.
Right.
And I was like, there's a movie? So I asked my uncle to buy it. And so when he bought me the movie, I'm watching the movie and I see exactly, it gets to the train part and I finally see what the heck you're supposed to do. Use the watch to get out of the train. Because I didn't know what the watch was for. I'm trying to kill people with the watch and it wouldn't work. It wouldn't kill anyone.
It's funny though, because you made me think about something, because I brought this up a while ago when it comes to music. Like in the 80s and somewhat in the 90s, they made songs specifically for movies, like Ghostbusters, Ray Parker Jr., and the Top Gun.
Right.
And they made video games in the 90s from movies. Like, I can't even think of a video game that's made from, I've seen movies made from video games.
Correct.
Like Uncharted.
Uh-huh. And they just had like a Halo series recently.
Yep, Halo. Yep, which we got like to episode 5. I was borrowing a friend's Paramount Plus, and then I recently realized that we have Paramount Plus somehow. But it's not the full Paramount Plus, I don't think, because I went to watch Yellowstone, which everyone raves about, which I've never seen, and you have to pay for it.
Mm-hmm. But
I watched 1893, I think is what it's called, which is like an origins story to Yellowstone, which was really good.
Mm.
But no, that's it's a good answer on the Nintendo games. That's a solid one. One last question for you.
Sure.
And as a guy who's traveled around for military, I would assume, with the Air Force, what's a city you visited that you would never go back to if you can help it, and why?
Oof. Biloxi, Mississippi.
Why?
I spent 6 months there. Actually, that's ironically where I met my wife. But boy, me and the South don't mix very well, and there is nothing there.
To do.
There was nothing. I mean, they had a beach, but it's the Gulf, so the water was black.
Yeah.
They had casinos there, but I mean, sure, they were great. There's like 2 or 3 good ones, but outside of that, when I helped a friend go pick up a car 2 hours in Jackson, Mississippi, and we drove through, and I was like, I could never live here. Like, there was just nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And so poverty's huge there, really bad. I don't know. That's just not my scene. So I think having lived there for a couple months, I wouldn't go back.
Have you seen Biloxi Blues?
No, I haven't.
I haven't seen it, but it's a military movie. I don't know if it's a comedy. It has to be a comedy because Matthew Broderick is the main guy, Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Right.
But I was curious how close it is to the movie. Biloxi Blues, now you have to watch it just to see what it was. I don't think I answered that question. I don't think I asked that question. I have to think about it from a work aspect because in a very old episode, I talked about some of the places that I visited, super racist places. There's a place called Cabot, Arkansas that I would never go back to. Super racist. I think it's still considered one of the most racist places in the United States in 2022.
So me personally, I'd have to say, because I drove from my first duty station in New Jersey all the way to Arizona, and when I went through Tennessee and Arkansas, I tell you what, let's just say, I do not look like the others there. So I always got a lot of attention to the point where I remember I stopped by and I tried to just order food. And they're like, sorry, we're out of that. I'm like, oh, okay, well, can I order this? We're out of that too. And then I picked up.
Was that Cabot, Arkansas?
No, it was
that
just
Paris, Texas?
Bristol, Tennessee. And then when I got to Arkansas, about an hour from Little Rock.
Cabot's about an hour from Little Rock.
Oh, okay, then yes. Then that's actually this story's from. It's pretty crazy.
Cabot's an hour from Little Rock. I've been to Cabot. So we had that issue. This was 1995. We had that issue in Paris, Texas, but also in Cabot. They have one grocery store in town. It's called Knights. And there was a Taco Bell, like kind of across the street from Knights. When we went in the Taco Bell, everyone was looking at us crazy. And there's some high school kids driving around in a pickup truck with a Confederate flag, just trying to irritate us. And they actually went to the Knights grocery store. Same deal. All the employees, all the people, these kids were out in the parking lot, kind of followed us across the street. We were trying to sell stuff. We went to this one place and this woman was like, you guys aren't from around here, are you? And the place was kind of dead. We're like, no. She goes, yeah, this place isn't very, very friendly to out-of-towners that look like you guys. If I were you, I'd get out of town before it was dark. And we're like, oh, that was Cabot, Arkansas, dude. But professionally, it's going to sound weird, especially if you're into baseball. Cooperstown. I had a gig in Cooperstown, New York, in December and January, back in 2017, 2018. And being, a baseball Hall of Fame, being the middle of the winter, that entire place was just shut down. There was literally nothing to do. You had to fly into Albany and drive like an hour and a half to the site. Yeah, 2-lane road, icy. It was just shit. So I would never want to work there. And just because there was just nothing to do. It's probably more to do than, Biloxi. Mm-hmm. But just the wrong time of the year, really.
Yeah, and I mean, even in like Mississippi and even when, because the Panhandle of Florida is there too. The couple times I went to go visit that area, the Destin Beach type of area, there's Eglin Air Force Base there. My brother-in-law was stationed there, so we went to visit him. I always had extra attention. I mean, they didn't care if I was military. I could be wearing the uniform. They didn't care. They would extra set of eyes at all times, ask for my receipt anytime I bought something. I was just like, yeah.
Right.
I wouldn't fit in there. Let's just put it that way.
Mr. Eric Rodsa, thank you for your time. How can people follow you? I said it earlier, but you got to say it for yourself.
So I do have an Instagram, thirsty with an I at the end, AZ. I decided to do the I at the end to mimic STI, like my car. So, it was a great event yesterday at Fuel Fest. I enjoyed spending time with you there, like always. And, this was well overdue. And I'm glad that we can make it happen. It's the first time being in the studio, hopefully not my last. And just want to say thank you again. And make sure you guys follow this guy. I mean, he really is trying to change the scene for the better.
Well, I appreciate that. And it's my fault because you're like, hey, I'll make that trip. And in my head, I'm like, dude, it's a long way from Surprise, man. I'm not going to have you drive way the fuck out here to sit there and listen to me bullshit for an hour. Next time you're out here, though, we'll have to go to lunch.
Absolutely. Hopefully with good terms, right? Hopefully, if I land the jobs that I want, I'll be probably moving this side of town, so it'd make it a lot easier.
Sure. There's an excellent barbecue place down the street. It's excellent.
I love barbecue, so I'll take your recommendation on that.
Hope you guys enjoyed that conversation. We're winding down here. There's only really one official episode left before the new year, and that is Christmas. So I don't know if I'm going to put one out on the 26th. Maybe a little Merry Christmas episode. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe I'll grab Wes or something. I do plan on having a few conversations with people, but I don't think I'm going to put out. Well, I'll put one out next week. You guys deserve it. But just so you know, I've put out an episode every Monday for almost 2 calendar years now. I started January 2021 doing this every single week. And I don't think I've missed a weekend. If it's a holiday, I still dropped it on a Monday, although moving forward, it's always going to be Tuesday because nobody listens to anything on Mondays. Also, pleased to announce that Right Honda, Right Toyota, 4Wheel Online, and Cell Shop Wireless Services has come back as premier sponsors of the show. As far as Patreon business supporters, we have Kuya Automotive out of Winter Garden, Florida, Pell Construction, El Canoria, Michigan, Big House Small Home Design out of Ashburn, Virginia, Traverse City, Michigan, Westgate Exotic Cars and Rentals out of Glendale, Arizona, and new business supporters shaping success with the West Tankersley out of Star, Idaho. I think it's Star, Idaho. I'll have to update it. I don't know. Look at my address book. For the rest of you, big changes coming next year, as I've said before. Be looking for this on the YouTube. It's also going to be here, like always, HardParkingPod.com, but I've upgraded my equipment and I'm really trying to move toward doing stuff on video as well. Not that I feel like I need to do a change, but I feel like I need to do a change. Sometimes seeing people talk is just as fun as listening to people talk. I've enjoyed watching the posts on Hard Parking Violations Facebook page. It does not have to do anything with cars. You guys can post whatever the hell you want on that page. In fact, most of the people on that page don't even listen to the podcast. But it's a fun page. Jokes, videos, just try to keep it clean. I try to keep stuff clean, relatively clean. A little adult humor is fine, but we don't need any strikes on Facebook. Unfortunately, I've never been to Facebook jail. I don't want to start in 23. But one thing I do know is I can't grow without you telling me how great this show is. Let's do this. Let's grow this thing together. And maybe I'll talk to you all next week. I think I will talk to you all next week.
Shut up!
Now it's stripping time.
Ain't nobody got time for that.